Yo, yo, yo. What is going on? Where is my microphone? My EQ? There it is. Way up there. It's kind of hidden now. I was told last time that my mic was too loud or I was too loud. So, got to tone it down a little bit, quit getting excited. And hopefully the mic isn't way too loud in your guys' ear. I can actually turn it. Let me see if I can turn this down. Oh, I can turn it down on the computer too. I think. I'm not sure. Let me know if that get louder, quieter. If I'm too loud, if I'm obnoxiously loud, I might be a little annoyingly loud, but that's a whole nother thing. I can't help that. Oh man, I don't know what's going on. I got some weird text messages today from a fan. I have no fans. He was definitely a. Anyways, whole nother story. Got plenty of time to talk though. But what's going on, guys? It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. It's over. Time to uh um time to get started with the rest of the week. We got a lot of stuff going on over here. Things have gotten so busy. Um, man, it's good. It's a good thing though. I'm not complaining. I always got to remind myself that like when things get busy, that's so good. I mean, it's definitely, and it's like it's a yo-yo, right? It gets busy. You're like, man, it's so busy. Like, is it time? Do I add more? And then all of a sudden, as soon as you start thinking about that, it gets slow, and all these cans start coming back to the yard. Like, man, good thing I didn't. Or the opposite, you ordered a whole bunch, and next you know, as soon as you get all the cans, um, as soon as you get all the cans, it's it's slow. So, who do we got here? Elite, what's up, man? He already texted me Brighton, well, not Brighton early, like 15 minutes ago, asking me if we're going live. So I was like, yeah. Today I missed last week. I had to I don't even know what was going on last week. It was busy though. I'm telling you, we've gotten slammed. So we got a whole new account. Um, it's a data center, which I've been praying for a data center because there's so many popping up everywhere. And we don't have obviously the whole account, but we have 3 dumpsters there every day, 6 days a week. And they want it bright and early. And if you guys ever been to a data center, it's like its own little community. So you have to like there's all these little golf carts and rules and security. Everybody's kind of running around everywhere. You gotta make sure you don't run anybody over. But anyways, that's what's been going on. We got a lot of that. Um, and a couple other big jobs lately. So let's go, bro. I'm so excited and anxious for the expo. I am too. I am excited. I'm nervous. Um, I'm all the above. It's it's something else. It's super time consuming, but it's fun. It's cool because it's something that I don't really do on a regular basis. Obviously, I'm doing it now for the 4th year, but it's not. I mean, it's just kind of taking whatever we learn and just kind of going with it. So it's fun. We've got a boatload of vendors this year. It's gonna be crazy. But anyways, we'll talk about that if you guys ask, if you guys care. Let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You guys ask questions. Let me know what y'all want to talk about. I'm an open book today. I got nobody with me today. Um, so we'll talk. We'll just hang out. I've been ready since last year. I beat Ryan and Dylan. How did you beat Ryan and Dylan? Oh, you beat him in the live. Sounds good tonight. Cool. I got the mic pushed away, and I'm a little more calm and not getting loud and crazy. Kara, what's going on? She says, "What's up, bro? You trimmed?" No, I did not trim my beard. It's kind of. Oh no, this way. It's like reverse on the camera, but it's kind of it's pushed over. It's all the way down. It's a little long. I got a comment on that. That was one of the text messages I got, but we won't talk about that. Dylan knows what I'm talking about because I sent him a screenshot. But ridiculous. Some people just have hate in their lives for no reason. I don't know why. They don't. They're always complaining, and especially when they go on social media like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, and just dog other people. It's crazy. But anyways, we'll leave that alone because I'm not doing that right now. Wally gone. What's going on, brother? How are you, man? Nice to see you in here. Urban Dumpsters. What's up, man? How you doing? Local Ryan, what's going on, bro? Yo, what's up? Nice to see you here, man. You on the lake, on the boat? I'm jealous, bro. I'm jealous. I want a boat so bad. But I know the 3 times in my life that I've had a boat, I probably went once or twice a year, an entire summer to the lake. And so what we started doing, my wife got me last year, I think it was last year for the first time for Father's Day. She rented a boat and we went on a boat and no, I think it was 2 years ago. So she rented a boat. The first one was with a captain, and so that was kind of awkward, right? Because I'm not really a people person, especially if I don't know you. Like if you're not in my circle or if I don't know you, it's kind of awkward for me. I have a hard time with that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I didn't really talk to the guy. He was kind of like a real hippie, um, really hippie guy. Like lived on his houseboat or something like that. And I don't know, blonde, long hair, and the type, right? Like the kind that like he was a surfer when he was younger, and now he was just like, sun washed skin and just kind of half whatever. Anyways, he was our captain. He was a cool guy. Don't get me wrong, but it was kind of awkward. So then the next year we found out in that same marina you can actually rent the boat and drive it yourself, or what do you do? Drive a boat, right? You don't sail a boat. It wasn't a sail. Anyways, it was a pontoon boat, so you get to drive it on your own or whatever. So we've done that several times. So we've done about maybe two times a summer. We'll rent the boat on the lake, and we'll do like a 4 hour. After more than 4 hours is way too much for us, anyways. And we'll do it early in the morning because it gets way too hot. So we'll do like a 10 to 2. Bring a cooler, have a good time, swim, um, or the equivalent of floating in the lake, not really swimming, but and hope something doesn't rub up against your leg that you don't know what's down there. Um, because the lake is not like the ocean, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, it's much calmer, but it's also a lot greener and kind of nasty. You don't know how deep it is and what's down there. Anyways, I'm going on a stint. My bad. How is the broker work down in Dallas? Broker work, as far as like obviously like getting work from brokers. So we get plenty of work from several brokers. I would say there was a couple weeks ago where we were getting a good amount of work from one broker. We became their go-to. I think they gave Alexis, they even sent her a gift card because they were so impressed and so happy with our services as well as how responsive she was. So they were really really cool. They've given us a good amount of work. Then you've got like the national ones that do like the Walmarts and stuff like that. We do get a good amount of those, like the when their compactors go down. Let's see. Um, it's a good amount of work. And then you've got other companies like I don't want to name names, but there was one that I've talked to for like a couple years, and they tell me they're a big one, and they tell me it's literally a one name company, and it's pretty obvious what we do is what who they are. But anyways, they say they wanted me to give them their best price, and they said they do over 1,000. This last time they told me they do over 1,000 dumpsters a month in Fort Worth, and in the Dallas area they do over almost 1,500 dumpsters a month. Um, and so they have like obviously several operators that they use. Probably I think they said about 8 or 9, and they're looking for more, and so but their prices. I mean, he wanted me to be competitive, and for construction debris for roll offs, I've been about $450 to $500 a haul rate plus tonnage is what I've gone to. For residential stuff, and I think I've talked about this before, but for residential stuff, it's way easier to bill a customer with tonnage included. Because I hate to have to try to explain to a customer, a residential customer, homeowner, well, this price is just a haul rate. Once we take it to the landfill, you got to trust us or believe the receipt we send you is real or whatever. I don't know. And then try to bill a second time for weight. So it's just much easier to do tonnage included. But for contractors, I've done anywhere from 450 to 500 to 550, depending on the size and between 30s and 40s, and then also where it is. So like if we go a little bit further, we're charging an extra $50 to $100 for the outskirts or the edge of our coverage area, plus tonnage. But he wanted us to be around. $150 cheaper, around a 350, 325 technically, the 350 rate for a haul rate. And if you look at our, I mean, I'm blessed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but if you look at the yard, I don't I don't have to do that. I mean, right now we have all of our dumpsters out for the most part, especially all our big ones. We're calling people trying to get our dumpsters back, especially our 40s. I've got 10 brand new 40s at the yard sitting there right now. I cannot rent them out. You'll see in a future video. We're about a month behind on our videos on YouTube, but you'll see if you watch on the channel. We're doing something pretty cool. We've partnered with a company that's out of Austin, and they do advertising on dumpsters. And so you're going to see it's a little bit different than what's currently out there as far as, like, let's say, I know obviously Joe's doing it. A lot of other guys are doing it. I think he didn't really spearhead it, but he's one of the ones that's really promoting it a lot more, and he's doing it a lot himself, which is good for him. Where he's selling advertising spots on the side of his dumpster, and so, which that's more profitable. I'm not gonna lie, that makes more money, I would think, than what I'm doing, but it's a lot more hands-on. So I'm sure you have to, deal with the vendors or those companies that put those signs on the side, and then you got to collect from them and stay on top of it, all that stuff. With what is currently going on at my yard for like a week now is they're actually building on brand spanking new dumpsters, 40 yards. They're putting these metal panels on these billboards on three sides, both sides and the rear. And they're fabricating. It's literally going to add weight to the dumpster, but it's only about 1,000 pounds per dumpster. So it's not too bad, especially when you're in the big trucks. But it basically creates a full size billboard, an 18-foot billboard, and I've got the other 4 feet for my advertising, my own branding. And so they have national brands that they will advertise onto our dumpsters. So they'll have, like, I don't know, Progressive, Geico, Verizon, you name it, national brands that will advertise that they take care of, and I get a percentage of the sales. So it's a win-win. I think we'll see how it works out. I've committed to 10 dumpsters with them, um, and so we'll see how it works out. If it goes well, I'll continue to add more. If it doesn't, I'll just wait for my contract to expire and see what happens. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool. It's an easy way to earn a little bit extra revenue. We all looking for ways to, be a little bit more profitable. I don't incur any expense in the fabrication that they're doing to the dumpsters or the advertising or nothing. I will run my dumpsters as I always have. They don't dictate anything. If anything, what they do sometimes, they told me, is they will find a very hot spot in Dallas for a specific dumpster, probably, or an advertiser, and they'll rent out the dumpster for a specific amount of time, be it 15 days or 30 days or whatever. At my current rate, no, there's no discounts or anything, and they'll want that dumpster to sit in a very hot spot. So it's an interesting concept. They're doing it down in Austin, and so why not give it a shot? So let's see where we're at. So to answer your question, broker work, that's pretty good. Most of the brokers will also work with your pricing. So you tell them what your price is. The one that I was talking about, they wanted me to come in at their price. They wanted to be cheap, and I guess they have the upper hand in that because they have the volume. So if you have a boatload of dumpsters and they're just sitting around, well, then yeah, it would make sense. If 350, if that works for your pricing or in your model, then I would do it. But as of right now, I don't feel the need to let the broker dictate my price. I changed up my pricing and it's made a world of difference in my rentals. Cool. Well, how did you change up your pricing? Done my demo with iCans today, ready to get rolling with it. Dude, that's awesome. Urban Dumpsters. Hope you were impressed. I hope you saw that the value in it and how inexpensive it is in comparison to everything else that's pretty much out there. Um, Prices have gone up, skyrocketed in softwares. A buddy of mine was just talking to me in the limo industry, and I used to pay $79 a month for my limo software. And that was just not that long. That was like literally 2021 and 2022. And so now they also got bought out though. So they got bought out by the same company that owns a lot of the softwares in many different industries. And I mean, I'll say it. They got bought out by the company that owns DRS. And so when they got bought out, I mean, I think they're currently paying almost $350 for a basic software, and then it goes up from there as far as what add-ons you want to add on. It's just insane. So, who'd you do a demo with, Urban? Buy a boat before the expo so we can use it. No, absolutely. And if I did buy a boat, it'd be like a 7-passenger boat, not enough for nobody. I mean, I got 5 of us in my family. Urban, you'll enjoy it. It's simple and thorough. I believe so. I mean, there's people that. Here's the thing with software, and it kills me because I see comments like, and I'm not knocking the people because they just maybe they don't understand or maybe this is the first time they've ever had a software. But people will ask me or they'll message me and be like, "Hey, um, when you got with iCans or when you hooked up with you or whatever, when you started using your software, did it get you more business?" And it's like software doesn't get anybody more business. Software runs your back end. Software is basically a tool for you to run your business. It's like a I don't know, a wrench that a mechanic uses, right, in their toolbox. And it's just another tool to help you be more successful in your business, to be a better mechanic. And so it's not gonna it's not gonna fix your car for you, or it's not gonna, you know what I'm saying, it's not going to get you more bookings. It'll make you look better because it'll make you look more official when you're sending out a nice receipt or whatever it is, or a customer portal or online booking or all this other stuff. But it's not like it's, I don't know. I think there's this misconception with software. And then you get a lot of people, the reviews, the whole review thing that's been going on. People, ICANN's released this new review platform. I used to use third-party review systems. There was one that was called Review Us, I believe it was called. There was one that was like a video review service for. This was in my limo industry days, where we could take a video review of a customer and like post it with their 5 stars. And so I used to pay for those services, and they were back then they were right around $100 a month too, right around $99 a month. But what they were was, how do I explain this? They were like an in between, right? So here's your customer, here's the review platform, and here's Google, right? So what they do is they kind of screen the reviews first, and they'll ask your customers. They'll automate the review process, kind of like what software does now. But before, the software didn't do that. Software used to be just software. They didn't have all these extra features. So what they would do is you would plug in your email list, or you'd have it somehow connected through Zapier or some sort of platform like that. And so every time you did a new booking, it would automatically go to this review platform, and the review platform would then wait until you're done with a job, send the customer a review request. Hey, how did you feel about our services? Rate them from 1 through 5. And it would be like usually in an email. And if they clicked 5, the software would automatically take them to, usually would automatically take them to Google, and then the customer would have to leave a review. If the customer clicked 3 or below, or however you had it set up, then it would, instead of taking them to Google, it would take them to an email. It would open up an email on their computer, and it would automatically send to you why they didn't have a 5-star service. And so this is what ICANNs is doing in the system. But what it's doing is people will leave a review, or people will leave 5 stars, and then it will ask them, or it'll take them over to Google, and then they either close out the window, they just don't feel like doing it. They may not even have a Google account or a Gmail account. Maybe they're not logged in, whatever it may be. Then they're not leaving a review, and they think that the review request or something like that through ICANNs is broken because they got a 5-star on ICANNs, but it didn't show up on Google. Well, it's not going to show up on Google because it's like the buffer, whatever you call that. Give me those words that I'm looking for. It's the go between. It's the in between. Um, so there was a lot of commotion about the reviews being broken, and it's not broken. It's just that your customers aren't leaving. It's very hard for customers to leave good reviews. Sometimes it's hard to get them to take the 30 seconds sometimes just to take the extra step and go leave an extra review. So um, that's what was going on. But anyways, Um, just a little rant that I keep seeing people like, what's going on with the reviews? And it's just not that. Let's see. Working nonstop. Haven't been in 2 weeks. Best boat is a, or best boat is a friend's boat. Oh yeah, there you go. That makes 100% sense because yeah, I enjoyed my boats. I didn't have problems with my boats. A lot of people say that your best day owning the boat is the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Right? Same thing, same concept. But I didn't mind. I mean, I didn't have them long enough, and I honestly only drove them. You know, we only put them in the lake once in a while. Hired a driver on, and I needed something better than I was rolling with. Absolutely, it's a good time to actually get a more official software platform. 30 yards on under CDL trucks should be a topic. I don't understand how guys are doing it. Big man dumpsters, what's up, bro? 30 yards on under CDL is a topic, and it's a touchy subject. And I'm never the type of person to say yay or nay or someone's doing it wrong or whatever. To each their own. What I personally wouldn't do is a 30-yard on under. I mean, although I say that, but although technically my 25 yards that I used to haul under CDL were technically 27 yards, and what's another 3 more yards? I mean, let's just be honest. But I am 100% with that mindset because there were plenty of times that my 25 yards were way too heavy. I wasn't able to pick up certain dumpsters. I ruined my fenders. I ruined my tires before because the bolts that were holding the fenders were digging through the tires. Um, Under CDL, in my opinion, and we've talked about it on the channel before. I've talked to Keystone, I've talked to Don, I've talked to Bram, I've talked to other people. Under CDL, in my opinion, should never, I won't say never, shouldn't be. You probably shouldn't do that. It's not a great idea because it's not about if, it's about when someone's going to overload that dumpster. I mean, you can say all day long, my customers won't fill it up, or my average dumpster is only this, or I make sure I talk to all my customers before they rent the dumpster, and we make sure they're not going to put any heavy stuff in there. You can say that all day long. I've been in this way too long. Anybody who's been in this for more than a year will know that that's never the case. Customer will tell you, "Oh, I'm not going to fill up that dumpster. That dumpster is a lot bigger," and then you go to pick it up, and that thing's overloaded. It happens all the time. Same thing in the limo industry when people used to be like, I got you, big money, big money. I'll get you a tip at the end of the day." Bro, at the end of the day, they never leave a tip. They're usually wasted and they lose all their money at the casino or whatever. Um, so, anyways, long story short. However, I was talking, I had Julian on here a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I'm fixing my phone case. It was all messed up. I had Julian on here a couple weeks ago, and Julian was saying they have an under CDL truck that they deliver 30s with. And so when you're at that kind of volume, and you have a truck that's long enough that can haul your 30-yard dumpsters, especially if you have 18 footers, 20 footers, 22 footers, and you're using it just for deliveries, that makes sense. If you have that many that many dumpsters that are going out, absolutely. Um, and every now and then, if you happen to pick one up that I mean, we're doing 30s right now at that data center, and all it is roofing foam. All it is, 1.5 tons, no more, no less, give or take, right around. They fill it up the same way every single time, 1.5 tons. Can you pick that up with an under CDL? 100%. But I wouldn't base my entire business on that or buy a whole another piece of equipment just to say that I can do 30s. Um, because there will be a contractor that's going to fill it up heavy, and then you're going to be stuck, and you're going to be riding dirty a lot of times. I would say more than 50% of the time, because you're going to be over your GVWR for sure. In my opinion, do what you want. Just my opinion. Urban Dumpsters done demos with all others, but we run near loads weekly, and they couldn't accommodate that where ICANNs could. Demo with Natasha. Natasha's awesome. Hope you liked her. She's definitely a go-getter, and she knows her stuff. So glad she's okay. She's down there. She lives in Colombia, so they had that big earthquake earlier this week. Slowed down majorly to the point I was considering shutting down. I do the haul rate plus tonnage, and it's been a hit so far. I'm gaining traction now. Dustin, bro, Let me tell you, man, it's never, it's always like that. I mean, it's never, there's never a point that we're not in the middle of some sort of roller coaster ride. It's up, it's down, it's to the point where like you're questioning yourself. And then all of a sudden things pop off. Um, but what the only advice, because I don't know your exact situation, I know we talked several times, but I don't know your exact situation. But the only advice I can give you is no matter whatever you're doing, never let off the gas, right? And I found myself doing this a lot of times over the years and over a bunch of different businesses. Is like, yeah, times are bad sometimes, and you're like you're working hard, you're doing your SEO, you're doing Google ads, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're really trying to, you're updating your blog pages. If you have blog, you should have blog pages. If you don't, you should. That always kind of helps a little bit. But you're constantly trying to figure out, okay, how do I get the phone ringing? And then finally, the fruits of that labor pays off. Whether you're calling contractors or whatever, too. But that all pays off, and all of a sudden your phone starts ringing, and a lot of people let off the gas because they're just too busy, right? So so then next thing you know, they let off the gas because they're very busy, and next thing you know, things start slowing down, and boom, all of a sudden now it's time to start pick. Now it's time to pick up the phone, calling contractor, calling dude. So it's a constant vicious cycle, right? You're just so one thing you just got. I mean, one piece of advice I could probably give you is just to say, like, hey, like, you got a my demo contractor calling me. I can't talk right now, homie. Told us to bring a strap for the dumpster. That's never a good sign. A 40-yard dumpster that's overfilled. Unbelievable. Um, so yeah, just don't let off the gas, man. And I'm not saying you do or you don't. I'm just saying like that's something that like I see with the whole roller coaster up and down is like a lot of times for me is like you just you can't stop marketing. You can't stop really promoting yourself. You can't stop doing that because the minute you do, things do slow down. So it is a roller coaster, man. Dylan says I'm just popping in. I will hope so, man. Just finished work, headed to the hospital, see my dad now. Man, prayers to your dad, brother. Hope everything is good there. Um, keep me updated, man. Had a customer put 7 tons in a 20-yard dumpster, rerun under CDL trucks. International MV with the SL214. It picked it up like it was nothing and drove perfectly fine. So here's what I've got to say about that. RC crazy. You're still overloaded, probably, but I've done it. I mean, who hasn't? Like, if anybody can say they haven't done that, like, literally, you're lying because you have no idea. At the end of the day, you can say, "Oh, that feels heavy," and sometimes it's like 5 tons. And I'm talking about in the big truck. And then all of a sudden, you pick up one, you're like, "Oh, shit's light." You'll be all right. And then all of a sudden, you find out it's 15 tons. It's like, gee whiz. So, especially in the big trucks, it's harder to gauge the heavy ones with the light ones. I'll be honest with that. But also, like even in the small trucks, we've all done it. Now, I've got a SL214 and I've got a SL222. My 214 is on an International MV7. My 222, which is a little bit bigger of a hook, is on the Mac. My Mac truck, my MD6. That's a 33K D-rated. And so the problem is the way that the springs are on the Mac and the way the Mac sits, anything heavy gets my rear fenders to rub the tires. There's really, really not a lot of room between the rear fenders and the tires. But the little MV6 or MV7 that I have, the little MV7 with a smaller hook, is a lot heavier duty. Oh my gosh. Is a lot more heavy duty. It just feels heavier duty. It feels because the suspension to me on the International is better than the suspension on the Mac. And so there have been some heavy cans that rub the tires, and I've had a driver. I mean, I've got a video on it where my driver called me and said, "Hey, this is rubbing really bad." I was in the International, and I went over and picked it up just fine. Who really took the time to do that? That's hilarious. You the man, Josh. Josh Roman's OnlyFans. That's awesome. That's awesome. What else? What else we got to talk about today? I don't know if you guys saw the announcement, but Kim Industries is actually giving a $25,000 trailer and dumpster set at the show. We're gonna actually give it away. I don't know. It's gonna be a giveaway or raffle. Um, it's not gonna be an auction. It's gonna be literally a giveaway. Someone's gonna either drive away with a trailer and two dumpsters. It's a Cougar 16K GVWR 16-foot Cougar trailer with two 25-yard dumpsters. It's crazy. So Kim Industries, actually, there's no. Apparently, Kim Industries placed the order, didn't tell Cougar anything. My understanding, and like literally is paying full price and for a giveaway for the show, which is cool as heck. Big shout out to Kim Industries for that. So that's kind of cool. Big announcement. So that was kind of cool. What else we got to talk about? Y'all got to keep me busy, otherwise I'm out. I ain't got nothing to talk about. We got to hit some like buttons here. We only got one like, y'all. Come on now. I could be going to bed almost. What else we got? On the show, we got a lot more vendors that signed up just this last week. I saw Evolution finally came through. Thank goodness. I'm glad Evolution's coming back. Um, they got a new location here in Texas, so congratulations to them. That's kind of cool. It's like I forgot the city's name, but it's like out in the middle of nowhere. But it's cool that they're in Texas. I mean, so the Miami boys are coming to Texas. They're opening up a second location. Um, Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Congratulations to them. Who else did we get? We just got obviously DRS is coming to the show, which is they haven't been to a show since the first one, since Jeremy was there. So I think DRS is coming out with a version 2 software, which I think that's a good idea because um, I can't take that's got to be Ryan. That's got to be Ryan. Um, a version 2 so a version you got me thrown off. A version 2 software, so good for them. Who else do we got just signed up recently? Sour Gum. Anybody know Sour Gum? I've heard of them. Haulers Magazine has signed up. Who gets Haulers Magazine? Obviously, Waste Advantage has signed up as well. We got lots of signups this year. It's crazy. Vendors, we got a bunch of vendors. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be really big. I mean, so last year at the rodeo, it was 30,000 square feet, and we filled that. That thing was packed. This year, we have 1,620, like 155,000 square feet. And when I was doing the map the other day, it seemed pretty full. But it all depends on how much space people actually use. Wicked Hall is another company that's coming out. Wicked Hall is coming to the show, and they have a patent pending on a dumpster. And I'm curious to see what that's all about. Waste is going to be there. WAYSTE. They're a software, I believe, as well. A new decal company that's for the trash industry or the waste industry called Trashy Decals. Good amount of companies, man. So, Elite says multi-seal needs to come back. Yeah. think the guy that worked for I think the guy that worked for Multi-Seal is no longer there. That used to be our contact. Would love to have him back. They had a really good display. The guy I believe from Air Down is going to be coming back, or Air Up, Air Up, Air Down. How come nobody comes to Jersey? Jersey. I'm gonna tell you what. Jersey's not that bad. Philly, people from Philadelphia when they call, I don't know. There's something in the water up there. Um, Jersey's nowhere near the middle of the country though. It'd be very hard for people obviously in the West Coast to, come to Jersey. Somewhere in the middle. I would like, honestly, somewhere down the road do something like a little bit cooler temperatures, maybe Tennessee, maybe Colorado. I don't know, but it's really hard doing it just right here where it's local to me, let alone somewhere that, I have to travel to and manage it as well. Their software sucks. Uh, how do you plan on topping this event next year? Yeah, I don't. I don't. I think I'll just be happy and content finally with having a consistent show where we know where we're going. Hopefully, I haven't signed the paperwork. I haven't gotten it yet for next year. But I want to sign them ahead of time. The problem is doing it if I continue to do it here at the Texas Motor Speedway, which I really want to do. I have endless amounts to grow because we're only taking one section of the infield. There's a whole two other big sections. Um, but the problem is we have to wait till the NASCAR schedule comes out in order for us to lock down a date. So, and then eventually, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Vegas would be a cool thing or not. Like, I don't know how many of you guys would actually want to go to Vegas. Um, I always kind of envisioned the Vegas kind of being like the end all, be all type of thing to actually do like a Vegas show, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't plan on topping it. Hopefully, hopefully I do though. I'm still not sure I can make it. Ryan, bro, if you don't make it, I'm gonna be very, very disappointed. You know, I got you, but I'm gonna be very, very. I'm gonna be hurt. It's gonna hurt. I can't have a show without Ryan. We have shenanigans planned. I bet you do. I'll call them tomorrow. I've been talking to them this week. Who's them? We're doing it at NASA next year. NASA taking off. I'll do a SpaceX. I'm gonna call my boy. I'll call my boy Elon and be like, dude, hey, we need a spot. We need a spot. But yeah, what else have we got going on? Like I said, those billboards are kind of cool. I'm excited to show you guys to kind of just see how those actually come out and see if that works. Maybe it'll be good for that company to go, in other cities. Um, what else? I got no other news. I'm waiting on my skid to come in to be finished by Keystone so I can start doing the porta potties. I don't want to do those for very long, so I need to hire somebody really fast for that spot. I'm actually sad I missed Vegas. Vegas wouldn't be bad. Vegas would be cool. I really wonder, in comparison to what we're paying at Texas Motor Speedway this year. I really wonder what we can get for something like equally and spent. And then also, I just couldn't imagine, like, holy moly, taking all that stuff. The one thing that I'm not, well, one thing about Vegas is it's just Vegas. Like, it's just, I don't know. See, it's like once you've been there once or twice, like, obviously I know somebody like Ryan, he can have a good time no matter what, because that dude and Dustin, but um, for me, Vegas, once you go there one time, you're gone. You just really not much. How's the hotel situation? So the hotel situation, I only have the room block until I want to say the 21st. So if people don't get their rooms by the 21st, there's not gonna be a room block anymore. And so then people are gonna, and I know it's gonna happen because it happens every year. And you guys can ask me, hold me to this, but people will be like emailing me and Facebook messaging me and Instagramming me and all kinds of DMing me and saying, hey, is the room block really closed? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like I got nothing to do with that. They shut the room block off because they obviously don't want to lose out on the rooms that they put on hold that weren't booked. So they have to open it up to the public. So after that, it's hit or miss whether you get into the hosted the room block show hotel. We got two this year. We actually got three, but I left one off just because I kind of wanted everybody to, it's always a lot more fun when everybody are kind of like in the same hotel. But with the number that we needed, they required me to get three. I only posted two on the website and kept the third one as like a backup. So what else? And then I believe one of the hotels literally across the street. The pre-mixer is going to be at the Big Shots. I've got a VIP room set up So we're just waiting on a quote for the furniture, and the idea is I want the VIP room to be accessible all day long. Anybody wants to get out of the heat, they can go hang out in the VIP room, lounge, and chill, have some finger foods, some drinks or whatever, and then in and out. We'll have to have security there where people, you have to have a VIP badge to get in, otherwise can't get in. I want to get into roll offs. Lots of demand for 30 yards where I'm at. What's your take with running CDL truck and trailer? Evolution makes a 32K trailer. Um, well, first and foremost, when you go into 30s and 40s, you're definitely going into, while there's a lot of demand, there's also a hell of a lot of competition because that's where the big boys are at. Like I'm talking about the major ones, Waste Management, the Republics, all that stuff. And they do it for, sometimes some cities they do it very, very cheap just because they want to take over. And other cities, I mean, it just really depends. Um, I've talked to people like Dylan. Dylan started out with 30s and 40s, and he's done pretty well for himself. I started out in smaller ones, worked my way up. I learned the industry the hard way, but I still do both small and big. I don't see anything wrong at all with starting with 30s. Um, with a trailer, it will make your life harder, but it's definitely not impossible. I know that it's a lot harder with a trailer. Getting into tight spots, you're gonna have to turn down some jobs. You won't be able to do some cities probably. Um, Even if you're a really good driver, some areas are gonna be way too tight. So there's that. Um, I think they have a beast of a trailer. You just got to make sure, yeah, you have your CDL and your truck is under DOT and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with a trailer at all. I mean, I had a trailer for a little bit when my truck broke down. I just know that life was miserable with a trailer. I had um, my big trailer because it was a Lone Star. Or it wasn't a Lone Star. That was my regular trailer. It was a Texas Pride, and while the trailer was stout, it was very heavy duty. I had a lot of very very hard time dumping it at the landfill because the dump angle was not very good. So with our trucks, the dump angle is really really good because it's higher off the ground. That's one thing I don't know about Evolution's trailer. You might want to check on that depending on where you dump. If you dump at just transfer stations, then not a big deal. But when you're dumping at landfills like I do or like we do here, it makes it very difficult because the ground is not level whatsoever. A lot of times you're dumping into big dump piles, and you have to have a very good dump angle. And the higher off the ground, the better. And obviously, trailers they want to keep it low for a lower center of gravity. So, who else? What do you guys think about that? Answer in the comments. What do you guys think about Caleb getting into 30s with an Evolution 32K trailer? They're kind of one of the only ones nowadays, really, that are building a big CDL trailer. Um, Obviously, Cam Concepts. I no longer sell Cam Concepts anymore. We kind of had not a falling out, but because of the tariffs, like it just made no sense anymore for me to sell, and it just wasn't working out. Um, the tariffs were an additional 25% on top of the trailer costs, and so nobody really wanted to pay that, which I don't blame them. But it was also very difficult getting the trailers across the border, and it was just a nightmare. So I no longer sell the Cam Concepts trailers. So there's really not. I mean, you could still probably get one of them from them direct, but a big heavy duty trailer. Who else builds one? Um, I heard. I'm not going to tell you who or what, but there is going to be a new trailer coming to the show. A 20-foot trailer from a from an industry company that, as of yet, does not offer that size trailer. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see. I believe Swap Loader is going to be unveiling a 16-foot trailer. I believe. I think they're unveiling something new. Oh, we got more comments. Holy crap! For some reason, I didn't see any of these. If Vegas was on the ocean, Ryan would live there. Yep. Home two, home two is sold out. Oh, the hotel home two. Oh, I didn't know that. If it is, I need to change and add the third hotel in there. Then I had no idea. The hotel sit downstairs are the best part. And Dustin, you know me too well. Wally gone for trailers that big. I'll be looking at. Oh, Bentley trailers. Yeah. So Bentley, but I thought Bentley was only like pup trailers, and they're really expensive. Because I would really like a pup trailer for the back of the Kenworth. Well, I need to look at those. I've never heard of that brand. If you want to start that big, just get a tractor trailer for the Bentley. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That Wally, that's actually a good suggestion too. Those are kind of nice. Those are super heavy duty, but they are really expensive. Uh, I think I saw a used one for like 90 grand. I don't remember how used, but yeah, you could do a lot with those. You can even do like, well, they even have like the bigger, even longer ones that you can do like 50 yards or 70 yards even. I saw one the other day, I think. I have a question. I'm building a 12-foot roll off at the moment, and for the cans sliding up and sliding off the trailer, do you recommend rollers integrated in my 2x6 tubing? If they're standard rail, normally the rollers are on the outside. Um, Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's standard rail, the roller should be on the outside usually, or on the side, which would be a lot easier. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be obviously an engineering reason why they normally put the rollers on the outsides of the rails. Swap loader doing the Hooklift trailer. Yep, yep. I have an Evolution trailer. Love the trailer. It has a killer dump angle, but customer service could use some help. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how their dump angle would be on the 32 on the bigger ones. That's something you really got to take into account because again, that was really bad. To have to climb into every single dumpster at the landfill. Our landfills are all like hurry, get out the way. Um, I don't know. If you can afford the truck, go that way. So the thing is, if you can afford a 32K trailer, and I'm not trying to talk somebody out of it because I think a trailer is a good way to start too. But at a price of the trailer, let's say it's I don't know 50 grand, you can buy a pretty good used roll off truck for 50. Matter of fact, roll off chick was selling. Well, it wasn't 50,000, but they were around 70,000, 75,000. Roll off chick was selling some badass trucks that some 2012s Peterbilts with the third air. What do you call it? The Oh my gosh, the third axle, the drop down axle, or whatever. Um, those trucks would look really nice. I've been really contemplating buying another big truck, a third big truck, which would put me at 5 total. But because we've been really swamped with the 30s and 40s, and I just picked up the 10 more that I have at the yard. Um, so it's getting to the point where we're running pretty long days in the two trucks as it is. Um, but I think I'm gonna hold off till probably next spring. But if I was gonna buy one, I probably would have picked up a used one. I probably and here's the thing, and I've talked about it before. I think I'm gonna buy a cable truck. My next truck is gonna be a cable truck, not because I'm changing my ways or changing. I still 100% love the hook lift. It's just I give up a lot of work because I don't have a cable, so I don't get to do the compactors from Walmart's or can't haul those or can't haul other hook or cable only dumpsters for emergency reasons for somebody else. So having one cable truck in my fleet and the rest hook lift, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt. Um, I wouldn't want to be the one driving it. I'd much rather do the hook lifts. But but yeah, that's my thought process at least. Y'all let me know, am I a sellout if I go cable? Am I a sellout if I go? I already know one guy who'll call me a sellout real quick. The same guy who there was text messages I saw today that he had quite a lot of things to say. Love it. Let's see here. No, they have mini Bentley roll-offs. It's a beast. I love that trailer. I really wonder what their prices are. I'd be interested. Yeah. Wally gone. Do you use it with a tractor trailer then, or is it? Do you have one, or is it just one that you've seen? Cougar versus Keystone roll-off trailer opinions. Well, you got two different kinds of trailers right there. It's like asking. It's like asking. I don't know. Um, I don't know how you compare. What do I compare it to? An F-150 versus an F-250. I don't know. To me, the Cougar's heavy duty, well built, standard rail. It's a winch system, winch system, cable, and so the biggest difference is going to be Keystone is the reeving system with the onboard pony engine. You'll be able to pull up a lot more heavy dumpsters with a Keystone. I just had a guy who bought a Cougar. Actually, he came on Monday. Literally came on Monday to pick it up. It got funded on Monday. He came right away, and he's local here. And he actually has a Keystone, and he bought a Cougar because he felt like for the price difference, he's gonna keep the Cougar for the heavy duty stuff. Maybe keep the Keystone for the heavy duty stuff, and keep the and use the Cougar as a backup. But a lot of his stuff, he says, and what he does is all a lot of residential. So for a lot of you guys that do a lot of residential, you know that if you're doing household cleanouts, whatever, a 20 yard is going to be about 2.5 tons average. They don't usually get very heavy on residential stuff. A 15 yard, maybe 1.5 tons. So um, to him, it was overkill having the Keystone when he's doing a ton of residential stuff. He's not pulling a lot of heavy dumpsters. If you get into the heavier stuff and you want to pull, seven. I got another guy who ordered 6 yard concrete dumpster today. He wants to pull more heavy stuff. Then he probably needs a little bit heavier duty of a trailer. Um, the Cougar has a 22K winch on it, 22,000 pounds, way more than what you should probably haul on a trailer, anyways. Um, I don't know. It's really hard to say. What would here's also the difference. I do know that Keystone rides a little bit lower, and the Cougar has a higher ride height. So it really depends on what you prefer. Yeah, you can buy both at AmericanAFTrailers.com, but I can't really talk one person in or out of it. They both are good trailers. They both have a great customer service, great warranties. They will both stand behind their products. But you're looking at a 20,000 pound. I'm sorry, a $20,000 trailer versus a like 35-ish $1,000 trailer. Onboard engine versus using the battery on your truck. Cable versus reeving. They're both cable, I guess. Reeving versus winch. Winch. Roll-off chick trucks are nice. I thought about buying one of hers. Yeah. You can tell, it appears that she takes very good care of them. Um, so that's really important to know where the trucks came from. Um, how are the broker section of the Expo coming along? So we have the Broker Connect, and to be honest with you, it's kind of slow. I do have 1, 2, 3 brokers that have committed. I wanted at least 5. But yeah, I've got 3 brokers. Hopefully, we'll get a couple more by the show. I've got one that I've been talking to, but they're kind of being difficult. Not in any bad way. Just they're taking their time a little bit, and so yeah, it's not. It's as of yet, it's not how I had it in my head. So if it doesn't work out, I won't do it. I don't want to waste anybody's time. But the concept was a cool idea, like a broker connect, where you can like do like a meet and greet with the brokers, talk about why, because there's this anti-broker stigma sometimes in this industry, and there's people that have no problems with brokers, and there are people that hate brokers, and I just feel like as long as you get what you want for your rental, what does it matter who it's coming from? And then you got the other guys like, yeah, but they're taking away from the industry because they're literally advertising against you. They're advertising for dumpsters in your area, and you're literally advertising against each other. That's fine, but as long as I get the work, I don't really care, right? Whether they come through me or whether they come through the broker. So I just won't. I just won't. I won't deal with. I won't. I don't. Yeah, I just won't settle to work with any kind of broker who decides that they take too long to pay, or they're slow to pay, or you know they dictate to me what I should charge. I don't that I don't do. From what I've been seeing so far, it just seems that the trailer has a lower cost of entry. Yes, if you're buying a used trailer, I'm sorry, a new trailer versus a new truck, but you can get a used truck. Uh, when you're talking about CDL trucks, yeah, they're a little bit more expensive. I mean, sometimes you're talking about really junkers for like 30, 40, $50,000. So I do agree with that. I'm just unfamiliar with the large trucks. Hear lots of horror stories buying used since they get beat up. Yeah, man. It's not just that too. It's like when you get a bigger truck, you're dealing with a lot more. Obviously, DOT will see you and look at you a lot harder than they will in some areas, right? At least here, they'll look at you a lot harder than they would a pickup truck and a trailer, even if it's a CDL or DOT trailer. Um, your expenses are just a hell of a lot more. A truck breaks down. A tire on a truck, you're looking at $600 for a freaking tire. One. Uh, Tire shops, most tire shops won't even patch your front tire. So you got one stupid nail in your front tire. Sometimes you're paying $700 for that front tire. Um, you gotta find a. Well, I won't even say that. You gotta find. I don't want DOT watching, but yeah, man, it is. But you're also in a whole nother level, right? When you go to big trucks, you're in a whole nother competitive level. It's a lot more. There's a lot more competition, and I don't know. The contractors are going to see. I don't know. I think a contractor won't really care whether you're coming in a trailer or a truck as long as they get their stuff picked up. But I'll tell you what, I've got 40s that we did today. We did a big demo job, 5 40s plus a plus a metal can, and that contractor he would never probably hire a company that comes with the trailers because he knows he'll fill most of his dumpsters will be 5 to 8 tons. Excuse me. But usually his last dumpster or two, I'm talking about 40 yards, um, he mixes, he puts in a lot of dirt. So when they're doing demos, all the stuff on top, that's all the light stuff, the demo debris. But as they start getting to the bottom, they start picking up dirt in that bucket along with the wood. And so those last one or two dumpsters get really heavy. So you're looking at 15, 17 tons he'll put in a 40 yard. And so you're not doing that with a trailer. Not doing that with a trailer. You need let's see here. You need a tractor truck, but you can get a class 6 or 7. Yo, did you get a chance to look into upgrading my ticket for the Expo? No, I did not. Damn, bro. I got you though. Don't worry about it. I promise. I got you. One way or the other, you'll get in. You got my cell phone number, but I got you. Personally, like brokers, they pay whatever you say your price is. I have one that uses me a lot, and they pay extra. Yeah, so and that's another thing. Brokers sometimes you can get more for because they don't care. Um, Sometimes when they're is this morally right? I don't know. It's up to you. If they're calling me for an emergency dumpster because a contractor went out at HEB or Tom Thumbs or Walmart or Target, I've done them all for the most part. If they're calling uh, and it's after hours, hell yeah, I'm gonna charge them more. I'm gonna charge them a lot more because if I gotta, and what we call it is a dedicated run, right? If I have to have set up a truck to do a dedicated delivery for a dumpster, and it's not in our route, we're charging extra for it. I don't care if it's a same day dumpster that needs to go out right away, that they're an emergency and we need to adjust our schedule. That's a dedicated rental, and so we have to charge extra for that. We charge extra for that. We don't have to. You do whatever you want. But that's how we operate, and people understand that, and they're happy to pay that. If we work on Saturdays, I'm charging more for working on Saturdays because I have to either pay myself overtime or I have to pay a driver overtime because we're working Monday through Friday. I don't have a Saturday only driver. So yeah, I charge more. Today we got a phone call. We didn't close this deal, and I don't know if I don't think it was because of price because we gave them a hell of a deal. I just think that something happened that they didn't need us. But there was a tractor trailer that overturned on the freeway today, and they dropped what was it? Avocados all over the road, and they needed it cleaned up. And we would have charged extra for that. It was an emergency, dedicated run. Same thing with somebody wants something first thing in the morning. If you want it first thing in the morning, and I've got to adjust my route because you want it first thing in the morning and you didn't plan ahead or you didn't want it there the night before or you couldn't have it there the night before, if I have to adjust my route and it's not as efficient as possible for me being a business owner, I am going to charge extra for that. So, just my 2 cents. But I'm going to go to bed. I'm out. As always, thank you guys so much for joining the live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the notification bell. I hope to see you guys in September. I really do. I hope we have a good time. I hope it's not too hot. I hope we have some drinks. I hope we get a lot of value out of it. See you guys in the next one. Don't forget the Hollers app. Download the Hollers app. It's free. You can. I'm not making any money off of it. Not yet. Eventually, I'll sell it for $1 million. But for now, we can all sell our. I already sold. I sold that trailer. The one I sold on Monday. I gotta put it. Market it as sold. But I sold that trailer through the Hollers app. The guy messaged me through the Hollers app. Sold it. Gone. See you guys in the next one.